Welcome to week 1 of Draftkings hands down stacks that we're going to be going over. My name is Scotty, and on today's episode, we're going to be talking about some of our favorite stacks that we have going into this week and using a tool that we love from Roto Grinders that's 100% free to use, and you get all of the great information that you need going into this week's matchup. First, what you can see is we have our Thursday matchup here, and to get here, you go to NFL. And then you go to the starting lineups tab, and you get this breakdown of the prices, and you also get the over-unders. You get the implied point totals as well, so you can see which teams are going to be playing more. We're going to be talking about some of the player specifics later this week. Ryan is going to be posting a video on that. Today we're going to be mostly talking about stacks and which matchups, which games we like specifically. As we can see, we have the Thursday night game. Excited about having football back. We are so close to it. It's going to be amazing. We have a high point total of 52 points with the Buccaneers projected to be up by 8 points. So they're going to be an implied point total of 30, where the Dallas Cowboys are only going to have an implied point total of 22. Should be a high-scoring game. Should be fun. If you are doing any kind of showdown slates, I would say don't take the defense, because typically what we see in these earlier games is that the defenses are going to be a little bit behind the offenses, and we're going to have some high-scoring games, specifically week 1 between the Cowboys and the Bucs. Bucs have a better defense, that's why they're projected higher. But yeah, so that's for the showdown slate. I would say if you're going to go with stuff there, I would say stay away from Zeke. Tampa Bay's rushing defense is unbelievable. I would say pick up some of your favorite Buccaneer wide receivers. Again, it's kind of going to be dart throws on who between Evans, Godwin, Brown, and even Scotty Miller a little bit, who's going to be getting the highest points there. Is really going to be touchdown dependent. It's kind of a streaky slate in my opinion, not something I'm going to be looking forward to playing too much, just because of the Buccaneers, how they are, even the Cowboys with their wide receivers. Not an area that I love in either of those situations. But again, it's football. It's the first game of this year. Probably throw some money on it. Again, I think the Buccaneers, I think they have a chance of running away with this, because I think their defense is pretty good. If you're going to put some players on it, I would say try to figure out which ones of the Buccaneer wide receivers are going to go off. And also probably, I don't know, Dak Prescott and Tom Brady, the difference there. Dak has the rushing upside, but going against a stronger defense, Tom Brady doesn't have that rushing upside. I'd still say go with Dak. But moving into the main slate for Sunday, we have all of our point totals here of 44.5, and some of the games that pop off just at the beginning without even looking is, boom, this one right here against the Cardinals and the Titans. The Titans defense for many years has been known as a pretty solid defense. Would you think of the running game, and their plan there is just to have Derrick Henry run, and to have their defense hold down so that they can keep leads and don't have to play from behind too often. That's not the case anymore. I still believe they are going to run with Derrick Henry, but I don't think that it's going to be as strong of a defense. A guy like Chase Edmonds or James Conner is somebody who I like at the running back spot. And if we're going to put a stack together, doing some kind of Kyler Murray, James Conner, or Chase Edmonds, there's only a 0.1 difference in price there, so it really isn't too big either way. It's just who you think is going to get the touchdown, or who you think is going to get more usage between those two. And then if you pair them with somebody on the Arizona Cardinals, I don't know if necessarily you want to go with DeAndre Hopkins for the stack, because it's already pretty pricey going in with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins. But then again, if you look at their other wide receivers, I wouldn't say you go with Christian Kirk, because he's the 4th wide receiver. But if you get a Rondale Moore, who looked really impressive, obviously, at Purdue, and you put him together with those other two guys, you have a pretty cheap stack already going against a tough defense, where there's a 24.5 point implied point total there for your team. So I would say that is something where I really do like the stack for the Cardinals. But then also on the other side, doing the stack for the Titans, you have Tannehill, you have Derrick Henry, and then the tough thing with the wide receivers there is, who do you go with? Do you go with A.J. Brown or Julio Jones? Do you go with both? Because obviously there is going to be a lot of scoring in this game. You could do both, but then again, any kind of Derrick Henry touchdown takes away from A.J. Brown or Julio Jones. So I think that's going to be a game that I'm going to be targeting. I think we're going to see a lot of point totals out of that game. Somebody's going to have to score on both sides. And so however you want to pick it and then counter pick it, or stack and then counter stack, I would really like this game to be something that's kind of chalk that a lot of people are going to be playing, is because your eyes are just immediately drawn to it. Again, another game that's close in point totals is going to be this Seahawks versus Colts game at 49.5, where you have the Seahawks with an implied total of 26 points, with the Colts of 23.5. I really do like the stack of Russell Wilson. You put some Chris Carson in there, who's not too bad at 5.9K, and then pair that up with either a Lockett or a Metcalf is a pretty strong stack to start with. Even better, though, if we do hear the word that Carson Wentz is going to start, if we put him with Carson, see if you put Carson Wentz with Jonathan Taylor and then Michael Pittman, who's going to be a wide receiver who I love this year, now that T.Y. Hilton has been showing off, because these prices came out so long ago, we are going to see a lot of value in certain places, and I really do like that stack of putting them together because the Seahawks defense is good, not great. We're still expected to see about 24.5 points. It's going to be a close game. And I really do think that there could be a lot of scoring in this one. I don't necessarily love either the tight ends. Gerald Everett is a guy who's sneaky, could be good. But again, I'm not sure if we're fully there yet, just because I think he might be somebody who later in the year is going to be getting more usage. Another game that we like as we're moving down is this Browns and Chiefs game. 54-point total, the highest point total of the day. Both offenses are going to be scoring a lot. This is a game that I might sneaky fade, actually, because of how high the point total is. Or at least on both sides, what we have is we have the Browns, who are a strong defense. We know this. We know that Kansas City is going to put up points, but we do know that they do like to take the time away from the game. They're not going to be this fast-moving offense with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. If they do break off a touchdown, they have that ability to have quick drives, but really what they're going to do is they're going to lean on their offense, try to keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes. There's a high point total right now. I like the under on it. It is something that a lot of people are going to be looking at, and that's why I said at the beginning that I do like this game, because I like it as a fade. A lot of people, again, are going to be targeting it. They see 54.5 points. They don't understand that the Browns defense is pretty good. Chiefs defense is pretty good. They also, if any team this year is going to want to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands as much as possible, right? And so if you're going to have a team that can do that, where they can run, they can get you with Chubb and Hunt, they can really take a lot of time away from Mahomes and really make it a tough day where he could still have a great game. He could have a high passer rating, QBR, and still have all those good metrics. But again, if he only scores 2 touchdowns and he's coming out at 8K, that's going to be a tough week. But then again, we have to think is Patrick Mahomes. It's hard to bet against the Chiefs, especially someone like Kelsey, Tyreek Hill, who could be the best at their positions. Across the board, we have quarterback, wide receiver, and tight end, #1 players in each of those positions. It's hard to bet against that. But again, the Browns' defense is good. They're strong. And my thought would be that they would try to keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands as much as possible. Finally, the last game we're going to look at for the main slate is the Green Bay Packers and the New Orleans Saints. I love this so much because I think the Saints' defense has gotten a lot worse. We have a close game according to the betting odds. I don't think it'll be that close. I think the Packers are going to have pretty good way with this. I think Aaron Jones is somebody who's coming in a little cheaper than expected at only 6.8. Devontae Adams at 8.3 might be somebody who we fade, even though he could have a huge game. But if you do an Aaron Rodgers, you do an Aaron Jones, and then all of a sudden you pick a MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, wow, that name was hard to say, or a Randall Cobb, somebody who you think is going to be getting a lot of points, or Robert Tonyan. If you put that in, you get a stack. Packers are going to score points. If the touchdowns don't go to Devontae Adams, they go somewhere else. You have a huge leverage there to be able to get some points against the Saints defense that isn't going to be looking as strong as they are in previous years after the departure of some of their key players. And then also you have the Saints on the other side. I do like them going against the strong Green Bay defense because, as I said, I don't think this game will be as close as the Vegas odds imply, which makes me think that they're going to be throwing a lot more. Jameis Winston, again, is going to be somebody who can throw for a lot of yards, can throw for a lot of touchdowns, but also can make some mistakes. But if he does come out and he looks solid, what we can see a Jameis play at only 5,000, which looks great. And then you put that with a Marquez Callaway or a Traquan Smith, who are both under 5,000, and all of a sudden you have a pretty good stack there, and they're going to be throwing the ball a lot, especially with the PPR scoring. You could see a lot of points there for both Marquez Callaway and Traquan Smith as they are going to be doing a lot of passing if they are down early. So those are some of the stacks that I like. Going back, I like the Saints. I like the Packers, but maybe fading Devontae Adams. This Browns and Chiefs game, I think, is a trap game. And then also looking at the Seahawks and Colts, I like that game on both sides just because I really like Michael Pittman on the Colts side and then also on the Seahawks side. They're just going to put up points. The Colts defense is good, not great. Obviously we know Darius Leonard, we know the front. So Chris Carson maybe is a fade there, but Russell Wilson, and then if you do the safe play of putting Metcalf and Lockett together, they're going to score a lot of points. Or if you think Gerald Everett's going to do good, but I don't think he will against the linebackers there in the Colts. And then finally, we have the Cardinals and the Titans, who I really do like this as well, especially if you can guess right on either Chase Edmonds or James Conner. We'll talk about this more later in the week when Ryan and I are together. Which one we think there, because I think there's value there. It's just we got to figure out where it is and how we can find it and project it correctly. And it might be if you do a bunch of lineups, you take a little bit of Edmonds, you take a little bit of Conner, and see where you can go from there. But so those are the stacks that I like this week. Some of the ones I don't like, some of the trap games that I see. Again, this is Roto Grinders, where you can hit NFL and then starting lineups. You can see all this information. It's a great, valuable resource. This has been Scotty from HandsDownDFS. Thank you guys. Let us know if you have any questions about any of the players in the comments. We can't wait for this week 1 NFL season.